Hey again, everyone, and greetings once again from Radio Wasteland Records. It is time for our weekly check into some of the new releases headed to an independent record store near you. Lists are getting bigger as we go through the end of summer and into fall, so that means we're just going to hit the highlights this week. But if you would like to see that full list of everything that there is to see coming out, all you have to do is head over to our website at radiowasteland.com. From there, look for the upcoming releases link, click on that, and you'll see a PDF with everything that there is to see for this upcoming week. Right now, though, let's hit these highlights coming up for the week of Friday, the 26th of September. I have to say that, man, October is almost here. Rocktober and then Record Store Day, Black Friday. Moving too quick. But anyhow, let's stick with this one. Friday, the 26th of September, 2025. Right off the bat on the new release front, we have got one from a legend. This is a brand new album from Robert Plant, and it's called Saving Grace. Our description says that this is the first album featuring the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer's new band of distinguished players, which he calls a songbook for the lost and found. Coming to us from None Such Records, the genesis of Saving Grace actually began during a lockdown spent in the Shire, that's a quote-unquote, when Plant's customary wandering was all but forbidden. Well, his recent adventures have centered around Nashville, having reunited with Alison Krauss in 21 for the chart-topping multi-Grammy-nominated Raise the Roof. It was in the English countryside that Robert Plant connected closely with this diverse group of musicians who, through their own experiences, have a shared leaning towards his much-loved corners of evocative songwriting. So this full album of brand new stuff from Robert Plant, again called Saving Grace, a couple of different versions to tell you about. 140-gram black vinyl is the standard release, and this coming in at a suggested list price of $28. And then there is an indie exclusive coming on 140-gram, something called Fruit Punch vinyl. It'll be kind of purplish, I would imagine. This one coming in also at a suggested list price of $28. New stuff also from Marcus King on the way. This is called Darling Blue. Our description on this is rather sparse, but that's all right. It says it's the latest album from the Grammy-nominated Marcus King and the Marcus King Band. Darling Blue is a soundtrack through the peaks and valleys of his mind and an ode to his beloved home, the Blue Ridge Mountains. A couple of different versions of this one as well. The standard black vinyl release coming in at a suggested list price of $33. Then there is an indie exclusive of Darling Blue coming on, of course, blue vinyl. I believe this is called Denim Blue Vinyl. $33, the suggested list price for that indie exclusive. And then just because there's a UK import also on blue vinyl, don't believe this is the denim one though, but because it's an import, and the price is way up there. $47 is the suggested list price for the UK version of Darling Blue, the new one from Marcus King. But again, stateside, we've got some more moderately priced black vinyl and the indie exclusive blue. Here's a new one from Whiskey Myers. It's called Womp Whack Thunder. The description says that this is Whiskey Myers' 7th album, and it is a cry of self-determined Texas rock. Two versions of this one as well. We have a standard black vinyl version coming in at a suggested list price of $40. And then there is an indie exclusive coming on translucent smoke-colored vinyl. $42 is the suggested price for that one. Here's a big one solo-wise from Jeff Tweedy. You may know him from the band Wilco, but also he's got a lot of great solo stuff out there. But this one is called Twilight Override. So this is a triple album featuring 30 songs, and it follows Tweedy's 2020 album, Love is King. This was recorded at his Chicago studio, The Loft, and it features contributions from the likes of James Elkington, Seema Cunningham, Marcy Stewart, and Liam Kazar, along with Tweedy's sons, Spencer and Sammy. So again, this is a triple LP, lots of music from Jeff Tweedy, Twilight Override. The black vinyl version of this one coming in at a suggested list price of $52. And then there is an indie exclusive on white colored vinyl, also a triple LP, and also suggested retail price of $52 for that one. But again, brand new stuff, big stuff from Jeff Tweedy. And it looks like they have defrosted Mariah Carey a little bit early this year, but instead of a Christmas one, we've got a brand new album. This is called Here for It All. The description says that this is Mariah Carey's forthcoming project with Gamma Records, and the album marks the start of a bold new era for Mariah, again, according to our description. It balances her legacy with a fresh cultural relevance and pop significance. Okay, then. We're seeing a single vinyl version of this coming on what appears to be a peach-colored vinyl. Here for It All, brand new stuff from Mariah Carey, this one listing for $30. Amanda Shires is up next with a new one called Nobody's Girl, and our description tells us that Grammy-winning singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist Amanda Shires returns with this new one. The album features Amanda's moving vocals and signature fiddle set to meticulously crafted songs ranging from achingly raw ballads to rock-infused anthems. A lot of ground to cover there. Brand new stuff from Amanda Shires. Nobody's Girl is the name of this one, black vinyl, coming in at a suggested retail price of $25. Two versions of this brand new one from Rainbow Kitten Surprise. It's called Bones. The description says that genre-bending live sensations Rainbow Kitten Surprise present their most collaborative and quintessentially Rainbow Kitten Surprise work yet, that's now an adjective apparently, on their new full-length album Bones. There is a black vinyl version of this listing for about $28, and then an indie exclusive coming on something called Banana Color Vinyl. Open it up, it'll spoil really quickly, so be careful with that. $28, also the suggested list price for that indie exclusive version. Brand new compilation on the way from Zack Sabbath. This is called Greatest Riffs. Our description says that Zack Sabbath, the preeminent Black Sabbath tribute band featuring guitarist and vocalist Zakk Wylde, bassist Blasco, and drummer Joey Castillo are back to sell their souls for rock and roll. Greatest Riffs is a 10-track retrospective of pure Black Sabbath worship, featuring choice cuts pulled from across the massively received albums Vertigo, Doomed Forever, Forever Doomed, and Volume 4 Redo. Single LP Greatest Riffs from Zack Sabbath. The black vinyl version of this, $28 is a suggested retail price. And then we have two colored vinyl variations for you to choose from. One coming on white colored vinyl. This one is listing at $31, and then a very cool looking red colored vinyl. $33 is the suggested list price there. So a little bit of a difference from each of these, but you got your choice of black, white, or red vinyl of Zack Sabbath's Greatest Riffs. Onward now to the key reissues scheduled for the 26th of September. And let's kick this off with Queens of the Stone Age, a fairly recent release, but holy cow, if you got a hold of this originally last year, it's worth a ton of money. Alive in the Catacombs from Queens of the Stone Age. This is being called an indie exclusive version, and the description says that following a deluxe vinyl edition that sold out in less than 24 hours, Queens of the Stone Age now announce a limited standard vinyl version of Alive in the Catacombs made specifically for retailers worldwide. The album will be housed in a single pocket jacket with a printed inner sleeve and features some behind-the-scenes photos taken by longtime collaborator Andreas Newman. Queens of the Stone Age, the indie exclusive of Alive in the Catacombs, coming in at a suggested list price of $32. Steven Wilson is a busy individual indeed. Here he is doing a remix for XTC of Drums and Wires. This one coming on 200-gram vinyl, and the description says that XTC's classic album Drums and Wires is presented in this 2025 remix with a number of additional tracks mixed and produced by Steven Wilson. This album is considered to be one of the gems of the post-punk era, replete with the sort of musical delivery that would have been unimaginable 2 years earlier in that era. So the Steven Wilson remix on 200-gram black vinyl of Drums and Wires from XTC, this one coming in at a suggested list price of $33. Next up is a reissue of Generation X, the self-titled Generation X. You may recognize a very, very young Billy Idol on the right side there. Generation X were born out of the English punk era of 1976 from the ashes of the bands Chelsea, and featured a young Billy Idol and Tony James, who achieved both solo and group success throughout the following decade and beyond. This album, by the way, was recorded in 1 week in a converted garage, and the debut showcased a cleaner sound with more focused vocals, with the band often cited as being pioneers of the pop-punk genre. An underrated album at the time, it stands as a snapshot of that early era. Generation X, speaking as a Gen Xer, this is a cool one. Generation X, a self-titled reissue, coming in at a suggested retail price of $31. Next up is a trio of reissues from Melvins. We have got Colossus of Destiny, Freak Puke, and Everybody Loves Sausages. Fun stuff from Melvins. The first up of these, Colossus of Destiny, double LP on black vinyl, $36 for a suggested retail price. Freak Puke, a single LP on black vinyl. By the way, this is a reissue of the 2012 release that features the Melvins Light lineup. This one coming in at a suggested retail price of $26. And then Everybody Loves Sausages. This is a reissue of the 2013 album of cover songs done by Melvins. This one, double LP black vinyl, $36, the suggested list price there. Also, a trio of reissues coming to us from Silverchair. We have got Frog Stomp, Freak Show, and Neon Ballroom. Frog Stomp is a double LP coming to us, this reissue on yellow and greenish colored vinyl, a double LP with an etched D side, so 3 sides of music. This is coming to us from Music on Vinyl, so it's going to be super limited and a little more expensive, but still sound absolutely fantastic. Limited edition of 7,500 numbered copies on that yellow and green marble colored vinyl. Silverchair's Frog Stomp, $55 is the suggested list price for that. Then we have Freak Show, also coming to us from Music on Vinyl, on limited edition 180 gram red and black marble colored vinyl. This one limited to just 4,000 numbered copies though. $40 is the suggested list price for Freak Show. And then finally Neon Ballroom, coming on 180 gram pink colored vinyl. Also a Music on Vinyl release and also limited to just 4,000 numbered copies. $42 is the suggested list price for Neon Ballroom though. All over the place, but you got your choice of these Music on Vinyl reissues coming from Silverchair. How about a big box set up next? This coming from Nick Drake, and it's called The Making of 5 Leaves Left. This is a 4 LP box set coming to us on black vinyl, and it celebrates Nick Drake's classic debut album, 5 Leaves Left, originally released in 1969. So The Making of 5 Leaves Left features over 30 demos, studio outtakes, and previously unheard songs from the sessions, plus the original Joe Boyd-produced album. This is accompanied by a 60-page book, and the whole set has been mastered by John Wood and produced with the authorization of the Nick Drake estate. Big stuff for you Nick Drake fans, and that album always a tough one to find originally. 4 LP set on black vinyl from Nick Drake, The Making of 5 Leaves Left. $90 is the suggested list price for that. Next up is a reissue of the Monty Python Life of Brian soundtrack. Always fun stuff as well. So the Monty Python Life of Brian soundtrack was released originally in 1979 alongside the film of the same name. And this record contains scenes from the film, which is interrupted by linking selections performed by Eric Idle and Graham Chapman. The album opens up with a brief rendition of Hava Nagila on Scottish bagpipes, which had earlier been considered for use in a scene but later cut from the film. So in common with the controversy surrounding the film, the album was banned in Ireland when it was first released, but it had worked its way through a loophole in the country's censorship laws eventually, claiming that anyone who buys a record and finds it funny must have something wrong with their mentality. Okay then. Nevertheless, the album reached number 63 in the UK album charts that year. This repress, by the way, is coming on yellow vinyl, although the image we have here shows black vinyl. A little confusing on that, but we'll get what we get. The Monty Python Life of Brian soundtrack reissue coming in at a suggested list price of $37. And as I mentioned, we're getting closer to fall, which means we're getting closer to Christmas, which means we're going to start seeing some Christmas releases show up in the upcoming videos we've got here. And every year we get a new flavor of the Charlie Brown Christmas. This year it is a picture disc Zoetrope edition of a Charlie Brown Christmas from Vince Guaraldi. The Zoetrope, if you are unfamiliar, is a picture disc that when spun properly at the right speed gives the illusion of an animation on the record. Very cool stuff though. So this Vince Guaraldi trio, Charlie Brown Christmas, a 60th anniversary limited edition Zoetrope pressing. And by the way, it is one of the most popular and beloved holiday albums of all time. You can hop on this if you're a Peanuts collector. The list price for the Zoetrope edition of A Charlie Brown Christmas, $35 is the suggested retail price here. And one more Christmas one, I know it's early, but of note to pass along, is a reissue of White Christmas, the original soundtrack from Bing Crosby, Rosemary Clooney, and Danny Kaye. This is the first time being reissued on heavyweight white vinyl, 180 gram. This is the soundtrack to one of the favorite holiday movies of all time. The White Christmas reissue from Bing Crosby, Rosemary Clooney, and Danny Kaye on that white colored vinyl, $35 is the suggested list price here. And that is a quick check of some of the releases headed our way for Friday, the 26th of September. If you are local and you see something you'd like us to get a hold of, just contact us here at the store. Also, if you'd like to see that full list, head over to our website at radiowasteland.com. From there, you can click right on the upcoming releases link and you'll see the full list of everything that there is to see. Looking at that list, I saw a jazz album from Coltrane on there. There's a bunch of other heavy metal and some other soundtracks and some video game stuff as well. So make sure you take the time to check out that full list of everything that we didn't get to. Same thing goes if you see something on that bigger list that you'd like us to pre-order for you, just contact us and we'll get a hold of that for you. So until next time, this is Jim from Radio Wasteland. As always, thank you for being here.